Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to News Dose, and we actually got a controversial story to talk about today regarding Xbox and whether or not the Series S is keeping certain games away from the Xbox platform. A developer has once again sparked this conversation online, and there seems to be some conflicting reports about this to the point that a lot of people have accused this developer of just flat out lying about the Series S. So we're going to get into all of that today, as well as the possibility of PS3 backwards compatible games on modern PlayStation consoles. This has been a dream for fans for such a long time, including myself actually. The PS360 generation is still my favorite generation after all, and apparently we're not the only ones dreaming about this. Suddenly, native PS3 games on modern PlayStation hardware just became a little bit more realistic with this new information that was just discovered from a PlayStation partner. Let's just go and get right into things, though, starting off with PlayTonic and Yooka-Laylee. We are now in a brand new year, and it's usually about this time when developers like to tease their plans. And one studio that could potentially have a good year is PlayTonic. In fact, they just tweeted this out. Happy New Year from everyone at PlayTonic. 2025 is going to be a big year. Stay tuned. Now, we already know that they have a Yooka-Laylee remake in development, and they previously teased it for the Switch successor. So I wouldn't be shocked at all to hear that it's a Switch 2 launch title when Nintendo gets around to actually announcing it, which is a game that I would certainly pick up. I think the remake looks really good. It seems like it'd be a perfect fit for a handheld, and personally, I was already a fan of the original. Even still, though, the way PlayTonic worded their tweet here has led some fans to believe that they might be teasing something else for 2025. Maybe a brand new game, because, if you think about it, it's been a while since their last release. Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair released way back in 2019. So the question is the Yooka-Laylee remake really the only game that they've been working on these past 5+ years? That seems a little hard to believe. So I do kind of sit on the side that they might actually have a quote-unquote big year with multiple releases, or at least multiple announcements. Only time will tell, but I'm certainly very excited to hear their exact plans, which, could happen at any moment. Now, for you Pokemon fans out there, we're going to start off 2025 in a really exciting way. Not only do we have Pokemon ZA to look forward to, I'm very interested to see how that project shapes up, considering Pokemon Legends Arceus was one of the most ambitious takes that we've seen for the Pokemon franchise in a very, very long time. However, it sounds like another mainline Pokemon game is coming to the Switch successor. This comes from the prominent Pokemon leaker, Riddler Koo, who posted this mysterious tweet. Happy New Year to you all. The latest project, which was not exposed from the Terra leak on Nintendo Switch 2, is here. Enjoy. And you can see what appears to be a white-beaked dolphin. So I'm assuming that this is some kind of riddle, and it's kind of hard to say exactly what they're hinting at here. One thing that fans have noticed, though, is that it is a white and black dolphin, so maybe they're teasing a white and black remake. Now, if that's the case, though, I hope that they put more effort into this remake than they did for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Not to say that those were bad games or anything. I enjoyed them very much. But I could argue that they're not even better than the originals for the DS, which has aged incredibly, incredibly well. Now, Riddler Koo did clarify, though, that this mysterious project is a mainline title and that it won't release in 2025. Now, personally, I'm not really a big fan of leaks that are this vague because alleged insiders can claim they're accurate even if they're lying. But I do know that Riddler Koo has a big time following for Pokemon leaks, so I thought we would at least talk about it. Let me know what you all think about this, though. Do you think a black and white remake is in development, or do you think that this could be referring to something completely different? Okay, now let's go talk about this Xbox situation, and in order to do this, we need to rewind to about 4 months ago when Wukong released as a PlayStation console exclusive. Now, this has been one of the most controversial exclusives that we've probably ever seen because there's been a lot of back and forth about why it's exclusive in the first place. There's been conflicting reports about this situation behind the scenes. Before Wukong's official release, GameScience put out a statement that it was because of optimization-related reasons, and this led a lot of people to believe that this has to be some kind of Xbox Series S problem. It's just not powerful enough to handle Wukong as is. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't get it to work eventually, but it will take some extra time. However, where this story gets really weird is with Xbox's statement. On various different occasions, they have seemingly indicated that Wukong's exclusivity has nothing to do with the Xbox Series S at all, but rather it has everything to do with PlayStation and some kind of exclusive deal that they never made public to consumers. This was originally posted by Paul Tassi, and he said, "A source with knowledge of the situation has told me that Black Myth Wukong is not currently on Xbox because of an exclusivity deal and is not delayed because of any sort of technical issue." Now, we even got clarification that this comes from an Xbox spokesperson who said, "As we have said before, we're excited for the launch of Black Myth Wukong on Xbox Series X and S and are working with Game Science to bring the game to our platforms. We'd prefer not to comment on the deals made by our partners with other platform holders, but we can confirm that the delay is not due to Xbox platform limitations that have been raised to us." So this has become this just really bizarre situation about who's telling the truth. Is Game Science telling the truth about it being because of technical issues? Or does Xbox really believe that all of this is because PlayStation signed an exclusive deal for Wukong? Well, this conversation has once again been revived because the director of Wukong spoke out and said this. Now, this was posted up on Resetera, and it's translated, so there's always a chance that some of the language got lost in translation, but it reads, "Although there were no big surprises, I still felt a little emotional after taking all of the Steam awards. Everyone's fighting power is so terrifying, but the only thing missing is the Xbox robe. It seems a bit wrong, but that 10 gigabytes of shared memory without a few years of optimization experience, it really can't be taken down." So it appears from this statement that he's blaming the Xbox Series S on why Wukong still isn't available for Xbox Series consoles. And this once again contradicts everything that we previously heard. We've heard from Xbox and from multiple different people, and they've suggested that a deal is in place with PlayStation. In fact, Jess Corden today posted this in response to all of the controversy that's currently going around. "All I know for certain is they told Xbox there's a deal in place, and Xbox believes there's a deal in place. I'm reporting what Xbox believed to be the case, at least back when I did my original report. They have so far declined to refute that." And that only adds more mystique to this entire bizarre situation. Xbox says one thing, and Game Science says something completely different. But we've never once heard anybody refute the idea that there is an exclusive deal in place. Xbox won't refute it. Game Science hasn't refuted it. And Sony has never publicly spoken about it either. So there's a lot of accusations currently flying around about who's telling the truth and who's lying. I mean, there's either a major misunderstanding between Xbox and Game Science about what's actually going on, which, I mean, theoretically could be possible given there is a language barrier, or somebody is bending the truth in their favor to make themselves look better. So is Xbox shielding the Xbox Series S to make it look better, or is Game Science hiding an exclusive partnership? Even Phil Spencer himself won't acknowledge what he knows. He was asked about this back in November during an interview, and again, this was just a very weird back and forth. So let's just kind of check out what was said. GameFile asked Phil Spencer, "Do you know if you're getting Black Myth Wukong on Xbox at some point?" Spencer responded, "I do know." GameFile said, "Are you getting it?" Spencer laughed and said, "I can't announce that." So just yet another very weird response that leaves everybody in the dark. Now, it's really not my place to say who is and who isn't telling the truth. What I will kind of say here, though, is that technically, both could be telling a small part of the truth. There could be some kind of exclusive deal in place, as Xbox has implied, and there could also be optimization issues, as Game Science has claimed. Game Science is new to AAA games, so, they don't exactly have quite the same expertise that some other developers might have. And in fact, Wukong doesn't even run great on the PlayStation 5 Pro. It's adequate, but it still leaves a lot to be desired. So I do imagine that it probably will require a little extra effort to get the Series S version in good working condition. Let me know what you all think about this, though. I don't know if I've ever really seen something quite like this before, where there's just so much back and forth between a platform holder and a developer about why a game isn't available on a platform. If anything else here, there's definitely a lot of finger pointing. So who do you believe? Do you believe game science, or do you believe Xbox? Or do you think both are telling just parts of the truth and are just wording in a way to favor their own situation? Now, before we go, though, I do have some exciting PlayStation news, and especially if you like the PlayStation 3, or if you're just interested in that console and just never really had the chance to play it. The sad fact is that despite the PS3's massive catalog of high-quality exclusives, a lot of people still haven't played those games. The PlayStation 3 generation was kind of a strange time for Sony. It was their worst-selling home console in large part because of their $600 launch price, but also because of the infamous Cell processor. I mean, their first-party studios did a really good job with the Cell processor, but it was never really known for being the most developer-friendly platform. And even all of these years later, the Cell processor is still giving Sony headaches. It's not necessarily an easy console to emulate, and that's why we still can't play a large amount of PS3 games natively on the PlayStation 5. Well, apparently, Complicit Conversion wants to change that. Now, if you don't know who they work on console emulation, and they are an official PlayStation partner. This is how Sony has gotten different PlayStation classics to work on modern PlayStation consoles. Well, interestingly, Complicit Conversion updated their roadmap, and you can see it here. They mentioned that their PlayStation 1 Pancake emulator is in progress for the Nintendo Switch, Steam, and for the Xbox Series X. That in itself is interesting news. However, the most interesting part about this roadmap is over on the left, where they said they're dreaming about a PlayStation 3 emulator package for Syrup. Now, to be fair here, this doesn't outright say that they're working on an official PlayStation 3 emulator, but the fact that they're mentioning it at all as a part of their roadmap tells us that they at least have aspirations to do it. So the way I look at this is that there isn't necessarily anything imminent to announce, but it very much is on their mind, and that could mean that a few years down the road, we could finally get that official PlayStation 3 backwards compatible announcement. And then suddenly, all of these great PS3 games will finally be playable for an even larger audience. I think right now, though, my main question, though, is will this happen for the PS5, or will it instead happen for the PlayStation 6? Anyways, though, that's going to be it for this episode. But until next time, make sure to subscribe, ring that bell, and peace out.